The UK Children's Parliament brings together primary school-aged children from all over Great Britain to debate the most pressing issues of our times. Its mission is to inspire, empower and encourage children to be informed, open-minded, responsible and active citizens who will shape society and drive positive impact now and in the future. Co-founded by the late Sir David Amess and Richard Hillgrove and led by the democratically elected Prime Minister and Cabinet, the Children's Parliament is now addressing concerns about the impact of the age of artificial intelligence on society. The future of humanity will be led by millennials, Generation Z and Alpha, who are growing up and living in a post-pandemic world where digital connectivity and engagement is synonymous with modern society, business and politics. These concerns were first raised by children who attended a meeting at the House of Lords for an all-party parliamentary group on Metaverse and Web3, hosted by its chair and founder Baroness Manzila Uddin and co-hosted by the chair of the Children's Parliament, Anna Firth MP. The Children's Parliament is on a mission to not only represent the voice of today's primary school-going generation, but also to hold both government and business to account. As one of the founding sponsors of the Children's Parliament, PR Entertainment captures and promotes the serious conversations taking place in the UK Parliament, House of Lords and around the world that will affect all our children and the future leaders of the UK and beyond. These are the key points put to Emad Mostaque, an infamous technology leader involved in some of the most important AI initiatives of recent times. Emad founded Symmetry in 2019, a startup that aimed to reduce the cost of technology for individuals living in poverty. He then went on to found Stability AI, which became known for building open AI tools that help humanity reach greater potential and functionality. One of their most notable products is a well-known AI image generator originating from a project called Latent Diffusion. Stability AI offered computational resources to support the project, and the model was officially released in August 2022 under its new name, Stable Diffusion. Emad advocates for an open-source approach to AI. While some have supported this approach with its potential for increased innovation and democratization of AI technology, others have expressed serious concerns about the potential risk of releasing open-source AI models without adequate safeguards.
We have this big issue about AI and humanity, and once again I think digitalization is a big thing and it's a wonderful thing. If we keep in mind the digital world, and I include AI within that, is a brilliant and a great servant, but a very, very dangerous master.
Aryan Shaker, the Chancellor of the Exchequer.
As AI becomes more advanced, there are concerns about ensuring it is developed and used ethically, respecting human rights and values. How can we address these ethical considerations?
Well, I think ethics comes from society, and the way these AIs were trained is that we took a snapshot of the whole internet. It's like trillions of words, billions of images, and then we compressed it down, but we didn't really filter it properly. We don't know what's inside the AIs, so I think we should put for transparency, and we should make sure that we don't feed these AIs bad things and then have to tune them back. I think that it should be democratic in the way that we have input into how these AIs are used in our society, because they can displace work, because they may not represent us properly, and we also need AI that reflects our own culture, our own society, and every single country needs that, as well as having access to this technology so it isn't gotten off. Open source is a good way to do that, where every single thing that goes into the AI is transparent and it's available to everyone. But again, we have to be careful in mitigating the bad harms of that. This is a complex equation that requires society, technology, government and more to be part of that. And I think it's especially important for the children to be heard in this as well, because you will be growing up as AI natives, you know, just as the generation before you grew up as internet natives. And you'll be using this technology every single day. You're probably the last generation that had to write essays for homework, because now, you know, they just assume that you'll use ChatGPT and others, just like they assume you use the calculator or the computer.
Clark Dearson, the Prime Minister.
Hi, I'm Clark Dearson, the Prime Minister of the Children's Parliament, and I've got a couple of questions for you as well. How do you envision AI transforming the learning experiences and assisting teachers in their roles? Can AI help personalised education for each student's needs?
I think it's going to be one of the biggest impacts. No matter how good a school you go to, you're still 1 to 20 in attention, and it's very difficult for the teachers to give you that personalised experience. Some people are lucky enough to have tutors and others, but again, if these are like graduates, they can also be tutors with an objective of helping you achieve your potential and exploring what interests you the most. I don't think that's personalised learning where you're just shut off from others, because I think there's a huge amount of advantage from working with your peers. But I think that within 5 years, every single child will have their own personalised AI tutor whose job it is to help them have agency and realise that they can create, they can engage and bring things to them in the right way. Because some students learn from text, some people learn from audio, some people learn from video. We can have adaptive learning experience, which will be huge. And there are charities such as our affiliated charity Imagine Worldwide, where we've been deploying tablets with basic AI into refugee camps, teaching kids literacy and numeracy in just 13 months. And now we're doing entire nations, and so that's very, very exciting.
That's so impressive. Another question. AI has the potential to help us tackle environmental challenges like climate change and sustainability. How can AI contribute to finding solutions for these important issues?
I think that, a large part of our failures are not because we don't have the capability, but because we lack the coordination. And one very interesting use of AI is organizing knowledge. So previously I was one of the leads on the United Nations backed AI initiative against COVID-19, organizing COVID knowledge. And we made some impact, but we had to deal with institutions. I think what we'll see is things like a GPT-4 or ChatGPT for climate, where any of you can find at any level climate knowledge that's authoritative, comprehensive and up to date, and then be introduced to other people that want to do climate positive actions. There's so much amazing innovation in the fight against climate change that just isn't accessible because we don't know about it. The data isn't accessible. And again, we should view these AIs like the graduates that will go out and find all the knowledge on climate and bring it to you, and to bring it to Baroness Odin and others so we can make a real impact. And that's super exciting.
Wow, awesome. And my final question. AI has the potential again to enhance creativity in fields like art, music and storytelling. How might AI augment or support human creativity in these areas?
Again, AI was trained from our collective input on the internet, and then it's available to us. We do open source AI, so it's available to everyone as opposed to controlling it. The creativity part is very interesting because sometimes when I go and I talk to audiences, I say, how many of you are creative? And only a few hands go up. And I ask them, how many believe that every child is creative? And all the hands go up. And I was like, how many of you were children once? And most of the hands go up, right? They were all children once, right? Like, you guys are creative, but you're taught that you're not. But this reduces the barriers from creating music, image, video, and more. And I think that's a positive something because there's no shortage of demand for really amazing stories and the stories that you tell. And now, like I said, you can create music, you can create images, you can create videos soon. Why don't you go and tell the stories? And what we found is that the most artistic people really benefit from that because what they want to do is they want to tell stories, they want to get change in people. And so I think that creatively humanity will go massive because the number of storytellers goes from just a few to just about everyone. It raises the floor for everyone.
Naila Seetal, the Deputy Prime Minister.
My name is Naila and I'm the Deputy Children's Prime Minister. So my first question for you today is that we hear a lot about AI safety, but what can AI do to keep children and just everybody in general safe from things like cyberbullying?
So I think, this is a very important point because you accelerate the ability of individuals to do this. That includes bad individuals as well. So there can be more and more cyberbullying. So we need AIs that are on our side because you're flooded with information all day. And now, again, people can use the AIs to do bad things. So you need AI that protects you, and I think we need to build those standards in. We need to build in standards for detecting fake images, for detecting AI agents, and have them identified as well, so you know if you're talking to an AI or not an AI. And this is something that's incumbent upon society, and again, the reason why we should push for AI to be open and transparent, so that we know how to build the mitigations against it, and also deliberately build AI that can support you against the wave of information that we saw even before this. Again, you're bombarded at all times and it can hit your self-confidence, it can hit negative impacts. Let's build AI buddies that protect you, and again, their jobs are to achieve your potential.
Thank you. My next question for you today is that some people worry that AI will take away jobs, but what kind of jobs could happen because of AI?
So I think it's a very valid fear, and we've seen this with every technological revolution. I think this is one of the largest technological revolutions. But we always create new jobs. So an example is the creative industry. Some of you play video games, right? Maybe not. The video game sector went from 50 billion to 170 billion over the last 10 years, and the average score went from 69% to 75%. The movie industry, in comparison, went from 50 billion to 60 billion, and the average score of a movie is 6.3. They made better games as there was better demand. So I think creative industries will bloom and go massive because they have bigger reach. I think there are new AI-enhanced jobs that can come as well. So for example, you have conditions like cancer and Alzheimer's, dementia. And if any of you know people in your family that have had that, or friends, it's a big loss of agency. We can build AI helpers now so that you can always have the latest knowledge on each of these conditions at your forefront and how to talk to your families and more. So we can create a new class of job, of people whose job it is to go into the communities and utilizing AI to leverage their capabilities, support everyone who's had that diagnosis and bring them the latest treatments and support and more. So we have to look at these new AI-enhanced jobs. What does education, health and more look like in the future? And say, how can we help society from a positive sub-mentality, incorporating that? And I think those jobs will far outpace the displacement of jobs from AI. And there'll be better jobs. Again, I think they should be societally bound.
Wow, thank you. And my last question for you today is, as AI becomes more common, there are concerns about data protection and privacy. So how can AI developers ensure that their data is handled responsibly and transparently?
I think we have very strong laws in this country for that reason. And again, we don't want to train on private data and all. As mentioned, right now we train on scraped data from the internet, so a snapshot. And our company and just a couple of others offer people the ability to opt out. But I don't think that's good enough. You don't teach kids by putting them in front of YouTube and letting them watch the whole internet. We need to have curriculums and great data sets for AI, just like we have ingredients for our food. Just like we have curriculums to teach you. And AI should only be fed on that. And this should be national infrastructure. There should be a British data set that reflects British values and culture, and the cultures of your faith and your community group and more, to have that personalized AI that understands you. So I think this is an important thing that we need to develop over the coming years. Great data, great AI models, and then that leads to better outcomes, as opposed to trying to train AI on the whole of the internet and then tune it back to being normal and human. And then this means that we don't have data privacy violations and more. It means that, again, we build with quality that we deserve.
Wow, thank you so much.
I really want to, from the bottom of my heart and my teams, really want to express our gratitude, and I know you'll want to say thank you to Mr. Andrew Fox, who's made many aspects of this day possible, and I'll let you know what it is much later, but I want to acknowledge Mr. Andrew Fox. So thank you very much.